Welcome back, everyone, to the stock market update video, where we update you guys on support and resistance levels for QQQ, S&P 500, Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta. And we have a lot to talk about, and we'll see where the price action will most likely be heading into later this week for all these tickers. And if you guys want to skip any of your tickers for the stocks that you guys want to look at, click on the timestamps below in the YouTube comments, and I have posted there. All right, let's get started. So QQQ today pretty much hit a key level of support, as well as we are a little bit oversold overall in the market, and also the speed of the drop that we got to 7% in just, let's see, since September 14th. So 2 weeks of 7% drop is also significant. If we drop really slowly, like we consolidate along the way and head down lower like that, then the chances of us bouncing would be a lot lower versus a faster and harder drop to a key level of support. Usually gives us a chances of reversing quicker as well, depending on the speed. So let's take a look at today's low is at 351.36. And let's take a look at a couple of if there's any supports back in these price levels. So we have a couple here. You can see it acts as resistance, support zones along the way here as well. And go back and let's take a look on the hourly chart to see if we will have any signs of reversal yet at this moment. So right now we just have a big enough bounce where bulls have a chance now to form the hourly uptrend back to their favor. If we cannot get the very, very first step for bulls to shape up an hourly uptrend back to their favor, then we're still in a longer term downtrend. So if we go to the 4 hours, you can see 4 hours on a very, very clear downtrend. Even though we have bounces along the way, you can see every bounce is met by this teal looking line, which is the 12 EMA. And the 12 EMA is currently acting as key resistance for QQ on the 4-hour time frame. So if it continues to act as resistance, it isn't always act as resistance, but you can see if a recent price action that it does, then it's very clear that bears are using it as a resistance. You can see rejection to there, rejection here again on Friday, another rejection here on Monday, and another rejection here on Tuesday, and another rejection today. So as long as bulls cannot get over our EMA 12, as well as not being able to confirm an hourly uptrend here, this bounce is just a bounce that never changed the structure of the charts. So the only thing we can say from this big bounce is that it gives bulls now enough of a room on that bounce where bulls can potentially change that trend on the hourly trend back to their favor. As you can see on the hourly charts, these bounces were a lot weaker, and we couldn't. There's no real chance for the bulls to really shape up the hourly uptrend back to their favor because of the size of the bounces wasn't that big. Yep, you could argue we had an hourly uptrend here, but that was like 10 cents over it, and it was like the end of the day, and we never really gone over it. But yeah, so now we have a big enough size bounce at a level that we're slightly oversold, and potentially, let's see if we can get the hourly uptrend back and break that 12 EMA at the same time, which is right now sitting at 356.51. So you want to get that teal looking line, just go to your exponential moving average indicator and type in 12. You can choose any color you want. You'll get this looking line. Yeah, so we may even form a, let's see if we get a head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders here. 4 hours. Yeah, it's not textbook perfect, but the ideal of it, it's a downtrend into an uptrend. So that way we pull back a little bit tomorrow and then bounce. That is a inverse head and shoulders on the 4 hour and the hourly. We need to break above today's high for that to happen. An inverse head and shoulder psychology of it is a downtrend into an uptrend. See if that can confirm tomorrow and potentially mark the temporary bottom of this drop. And we'll have to see the size of this bounce on the daily chart to see if we're going to get continuation on the downside or not. Because even if we bounce, right, we come back up to here. Even if we come back up to here to fill this gap. Let's take a look. If we do bounce over to there, that would be that's a 50% retracement. If we bounce all the way to this gap fill at 364.75, then it's a 50-50 chance now that the bulls can confirm a daily uptrend here, or the bears can continue to confirm their daily downtrend following through. So we'll see that. But we still have a ton of ways to go because we're not even out of the bear flag territory yet. There's just like one candle for bounce, right? So we even come up all the way here, 361.64. We're still in a daily bear flag, right? So a lot of work for bulls to even start shipping up its daily trend back to its favor, right? Very first thing we want to see is the hourly and negate this bear flag, get above it, 361.64, to have us saying there's more chance of potentially more upside into the end of the year. And tomorrow there is Drone going to be speaking, as well as the GDP number is going to be coming in the morning. So make sure to watch out for those two, and we'll see what he says. Because because of the last meeting, rate hikes is going to be not rate hikes, rates hold is going to be holding for longer, and that's made the market dropped from the last meeting. So we'll see what he's going to talk about. I don't think it's going to be much worse than what he talked about in during its FOMC meeting. So I don't think there's going to be nothing surprising. Maybe we get something surprising on the upside. So we'll see. So S&P 500 filled its gap here, and also pretty much bounce off of that level. That is a good sign. Let's see. Came back almost back above where I wanted to see back above. But we are back above yesterday's high. Yesterday's close. So that's a good sign. So pretty much back above this level right here. Came back below it, filled the gap, went back up. So that's a good sign. Yeah, we could potentially see this being the bottom of same thing. Inverse head and shoulders pattern, potentially shaping up to from downtrend to hourly uptrend. So then I added some longs on XOXL, which is the leverage long side on semiconductors. I got in at 17.3, roughly down here around this level. So I'm holding it as well, potentially for that Q inverse head and shoulders to shape up. If not, I'll get stopped out. But yeah, I'll see if QQ bounces. And semi has been holding better than QQ down on these levels because it has been dropping a lot more on here, these levels. So once it drops more, it hits a certain level of support, it starts to become relative strength compared to other peers. And then once this other peer bounces as well, it will have a stronger bounce. So the regular ticker for this is XOXX. This is the 1x leverage. So 1x, it's not leverage, but it's just the regular ticker, and XOXL, it's just the leverage 3x on a long side. So if XOXX goes up 1%, XOXL goes up 3% because it's a 3x, right? So just get to use leverage in the stock. So it's not like your money is leveraged 3 times, but you are technically leveraged 3 times. Yeah, it's like having, let's say you have 100K in XOXX, but you buy XOXL with 100K. It's pretty much you're buying XOXX with 300K. So yeah. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. Still forming its tiny range, and looks like it's holding this level. It wants to hold this structure right here. You can see all this cluster of volume. And we have tested it on Monday once and today another time. And we are back above it. So that's a good sign that we may potentially, that is where bulls really want to hold that level. And we'll see if that happens or not. Still a lot of work for bulls to form an hourly uptrend back to its favor. We have to break above this sideways structure here too as well. We pretty much rejected from that. You can see this candle here. Rejected from the bottom of the structure. At the end of the day, don't have enough time to test again either. So I want to say it's a clear rejection. Just that we need to form an hourly uptrend, break above this structure for bulls to have more upside. Because if we can't even get above this low, bottom of this low of this range, then our downtrend still intact. Same thing. But yeah, but the only good sign is that we held above this structure today and closed above it. So this may be the temporary bottom as well for Tesla. See if we get some follow through from the bulls or not tomorrow. Tomorrow, if we break down below this structure, then I'm looking back at this teal looking line for support. Stop trading teal looking line support. Goes all the way back here. Let's see. Tomorrow brings Nvidia outperforming today on the, definitely on the bounce today. So it's been relative weak. So relative weakness from all the way from top to $500 rejection coming down all the way down here. Held above its pivot, right there, weekly pivot. And it's been holding quite well in this past couple of days while QQ was red. And now on that bounce afternoon for that V shape, you can see we end up closing 1.33%, and we are back above 420. So it's a good sign. 420 is a clear key level of support, and bears did not have a lot of follow through after they broke through it. You can see where they broke through it on Thursday, and that was marked the low. And ever since, we've been making a higher low. Every time the lows of the candle is higher than the previous day. That's a good sign that Nvidia has been relative strength. So as this V shape, we broke above slightly. It's giving me a megaphone feel here. You can see that's that look on the top, higher high, no follow through each time. So we'll have to see if Nvidia can form a clear hourly uptrend for me and come back to test this low of this range at this 430 level and break out of this megaphone. Yeah, relative outperformance for now. Apple, relative weak compared to the market. We have broken out of that equilibrium that we've been talking about for a while. So this was the big move up, big move down, big move up, tightening up, and it just can't get over 180. And then we tried to hold at this level for multiple days, over 6 days, another 3 here. And then when we crack through it, you can see the bears follow through from that level. And pretty much we came down to this next level of support at 170, which coincides with this structure right here, as well as bottom of this structure. So let's see if any signs of bounce for Apple. Zoom into the hourly charts, and no signs of bounce on Apple because it's very weak bounce. You can see Nvidia pretty much V-shape higher than today's high. So you know how Nvidia dropped and then it went all the way here, and then it closed a little bit lower like that. Meanwhile, Apple, you can see just forming another, looks like a bear flag. Let's see if it got over. Pretty much. Now we retrade 50% of it, so it's not a bear flag anymore. But not a bounce that bulls want to see at all, because we while QQQ bounced almost back to its highs, Apple barely did. So ideally, Apple should have been closer around here. But so it's still relatively weak. So no signs of it bottoming out yet. So yeah, tomorrow I want to see a bigger bounce follow through break above 170 and form a potentially hourly uptrend. This bounce is not even big enough for an hourly uptrend to confirm yet. So, yep. So potentially more downside. If we do come down, then 167 is where I would definitely be looking for a bounce if we even get there. But if I were to play a bounce, I definitely wouldn't be playing Apple. I'll be playing something like Nvidia for a bounce, or Tesla, because you don't want to be playing a relative weakness, and you don't really want to be shorting down here after such significant drop already. So yeah, I will be looking at Apple because Apple is the biggest weighting in QQQ. So we can argue that potentially when Apple bounces tomorrow, QQQ is going to bounce because Apple didn't help the QQQ bounce today. So we may get a bigger bounce tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see. But I want to see the hourly chart shape up. Just like today, Amazon. See how Amazon pretty much bounced almost all of its drop with now big enough bounce where now it can potentially shape up that inverse head and shoulders as well with the other tech stocks and potentially confirm the hourly uptrend. And Apple needs to catch up to its peers. But yeah, let's see. We get the hourly uptrend back to Amazon's favor. I would say probably because of how much we have been dropped. Much dropped like a rock from the top to the bottom. 15% on a mega cap tech stock and into key levels of support right there. Bounce back above another key level support. Close above it. Pretty much flat compared to yesterday. So yeah, that potentially can mark the temporary bottom. I would say, yeah. And if this is not the temporary bottom, I don't think we got that much more downside, honestly. If we want more downside, we still need a bounce, temporary bounce, to continue that daily downtrend. So let's take a look to see the size of the retreat. Sorry, the size of the bounce when it happens. Tomorrow and Friday. If it's a weak one, then we may potentially shape up more downsides. I'll let you guys know how that bounce shapes up. Google, absolutely outperforming today. You guys know how I talk about how Google is always in the chop zone, and every time it goes into a different structure, those structures are going to act as support and resistance. So it was a very clear level of support and resistance when we broke down out of this 133. We're back into this zone, right? This chop zone from back here. So we have a very clear level of support at 127. It was the prior resistance now acting as support. You can see it bounces off of here all the time. And essentially where we bounced off yesterday. So once we bounce off of a key support, we went from relative weakness to relative strength. Definitely helped the market today, for sure. Yeah. Because if you see every single mega cap tech dropping like a rock, then sentiment really just shifts to the bear side. But if you see, let's say, Google, Nvidia bouncing, and Tesla holding decently, Apple dropping, and then right, Meta V-shaping, right? You're not gonna, as a bear, you can't really go full on bear mode and short if you have things shifting around, money going a couple places, right? Versus if all 7 of them were just dropping like a rock, then definitely you'd be shorting hard. But yeah, so that's where Google played in today. Definitely helped the sentiment of the market today to see hourly uptrend is already intact now for Google, confirmed. Yeah, so we want to see the rest of the mega cap tech stock starting to shape up like Google. All right, Microsoft. So Microsoft is giving us a similar look to Apple. So it's been relatively weak. And you can see that's why QQQ has been dragging down by both of them. And currently we are pretty much at a double bottom support zone of this structure. Top of the structure is currently acting as support. And very likely this could also mark the temporary bottom as well, is my bet for the overall market, and that's why I told you guys I went long on the XOXL earlier. But anything can happen because these guys could just roll over and for another day, right? So gotta be prepared for your stop losses. But we have a temporary bottom here of a double bottom, and if bulls want to play a sticker, very very clear line with the play off of, you just set your stop loss below here. Right? You can give it some wiggle room depending on your position size. Stop loss would be close to 309.7. And if you want to give some room, you want to let it go below all these wicks. You know, you can go from 308 or 307. If you're wrong, you get stop loss for a little bit. But if you're right, there's quite a bit of bounce. You can potentially take profit close to this 320 zone or very first target 318. Yep. So we'll see if Microsoft can hold this double bottom on the hourly charts, as well as form the hourly uptrend back to the bulls, because this also is a bounce, pretty much a V-shaped bounce of all its losses today at a key support zone. So we'll look at signs for the bulls, but mostly defense. So we want to see some offense going on here. Let's take a look on the 4 hours. See any clues. 4 hours similar to QQ, trending down on 4 hour 12 EMA. This is tail looking line. Rejection right here. Rejection here again. Rejection here. Rejection here. Very close to it again. Ideally, tomorrow we break above it with an hourly uptrend. Then we probably will get a lot more follow through from the best bounce for sure. Yeah, when then we'll also break above 315 if that happens. Very likely coming back up to 318 when that happens. All right, so Meta. This is just one of the most amazing volatile tickers of this size. Megaphone uptrending resistance. Haven't looked at it for a while ever since reject from here because price hasn't gone up there. And not sure why this line is doing here. I'm just gonna delete that. And that's probably because of that back. Let's take a look back here. Okay, so that line is back here from this resistance to this resistance. And now just looking at it because there's another one. You can see very clear just from the top of here to the bottom here. So that one's the near term one. Very, very clear. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Rejection here 4 times. And essentially this pump was for the VR event. And I am just surprised how much we V-shaped all the way down here. And then V-shaped back up to this resistance line. And let's take a look at how many percent that is. So we pretty much dumped 4.3% and bounced 4.8% on a mega cap tech stock, $1 trillion mega cap tech stock. So that is insane. Okay. So yes, pretty much what we're looking at. We can say we held this level of support as well. This right here. Slightly broke below it, came back up to it. And on the 4 hour, you can see that it pretty much held it. It's just a big wick. And what I'm looking at now is this downtrending looking support. Will we get over it or not? We're in striking distance, so that's a good sign. So I want to see its peers, all of these other mega cap tech stocks, form its inverse head and shoulders and confirm the hourly uptrend, which will drag QQQ up, which will also help Meta to break this downtrending support. And when Meta breaks this downtrending support, then it's going to get bulls following through, and which will also then help its other peers, mega cap tech stocks, increases momentum on the upside. And if that happens, we're coming back up to this 303 level. Downtrending support. But if it can't, then it will likely tighten up a little bit more before see which way it wants to break from this clear resistance and clear support. But this bounce is definitely big enough now to confirm an hourly uptrend So we'll see about that. All right, that's all I got for you guys. If you guys are looking for the commodities video, I already uploaded that from a previous video. Check that out where I do natural gas, gold, and silver, as well as the oil and the US dollar there. And feel free to subscribe, like, and share if you guys made it this far. They're always appreciated. And if you guys like to support the channel, feel free to join the memberships in below where I do everyday Sunday videos. And you guys get to pick your own stocks as well for me to analyze on. And I will see you guys tomorrow for more updates. Feel free to comment below if you guys got any questions. And see you guys later.